To study about the lesions in the optic nerve, at the level of optic chiasma, at the level of optic radiation and its effects of lesion, we need to understand the anatomy of the optic nerve, optic tract and the functional areas related to it. To understand the anatomy of all these structures, kindly refer our previous video of the optic nerve. Now we'll go into the lesions of the optic nerve. To understand the lesions in the optic pathway, first we'll draw the structures present in the optic pathway. This is actually the eyeball, optic nerve, this is the optic chiasma, so optic tract, which will be ending in the lateral geniculate body on either side. Then from here we have some of the fibers which are passing through the temporal lobe and optic radiation fibers which are coming through the parietal lobe to the occipital pole, okay, to the visual cortex. So these are the optic radiation fibers. These optic radiation fibers are passing through the retrolentiform part of internal capsule. So this is actually the retrolentiform part of internal capsule. It's passing through the retrolentiform part of internal capsule to the visual cortex, area number, primary visual area number 17. Okay, to the primary visual area number 17. Now let us understand the field of vision first. So if you are seeing an object in front of you, so imagine this is actually the right side of the this is actually the left side of the visual field. This is the right side of the visual field for this eye, and for this eye your right side of the visual field is here and the left side of the visual field is here. Okay, so the right side of the visual field, okay, whatever you are seeing from this eye is actually focused onto the left side of the retina. Okay, so just now we'll draw the retina and represent the visual field in relation to the retina. Imagine this is actually the retina of this eye and this is the retina of this eye. So this is actually the left eye, the right eye. Okay, the left eye and the right eye. So as we know, so the right side of the field is focused on the left half of the retina. So this left half is actually carrying the right visual field. Whatever I am mentioning, everything I am mentioning according to the visual field, not according to the direction of the or according to the side of the particular structure. Okay, is all the visual fields. Now the left visual field is focused along the right side of the retina. So the right side of the retina is actually taking the left visual field. Okay, so similarly here also the right visual field of this eye is being focused on the left side. Okay, left side of this retina. So this is the left side, so right, it is carrying the right visual field. Similarly opposite. Okay, so it is carrying the left visual field. And one more thing what we should understand, whatever we see in front of you towards the sky, so the upper part of the visual field, towards the sky means the upper part of the visual field is always focused at the lower part of the, if you consider this is the lower part, okay, so the lower part of the retina will focus the upper visual field. This is the upper visual field, and the upper part of the retina will always be focusing the lower visual field. So this upper part is responsible for focusing the lower visual field. Okay, so now you can see there are four quadrants. Right lower field is focused here at this part of the retina. Then right upper field is focused at the lower left part of the retina. So similarly we have these fields. Now we can understand these fields in the retina. Next we have to know about the fibers which are carrying these visual fields. As we know, in the optic nerve, the nasal fibers are all crossed fibers. It will be crossing in the optic chiasma. Okay, it is crossing in the optic chiasma to go to the opposite side lateral geniculate body. This is actually the right sided lateral geniculate body. It's a left sided lateral geniculate body. Okay, so here also the nasal fibers which are actually carrying the sensory inputs from the left half, okay, left half, so this half, left half of this retina, okay, which is carrying the right visual field of this eyeball, okay, carrying the right visual field of the eyeball, is actually crossing to the opposite side, actually crossing to the opposite side, lateral geniculate body. Okay, now this lateral geniculate body is having which visual field? Just see this, is having the right visual field of the right eye, right field. Okay, okay. Now next we will see about the uncrossed fibers. Now the temporal fibers will not be crossing, so it will be going towards the same side lateral geniculate body. Okay, it is going to the same side lateral geniculate body. As you see, this temporal fibers are actually carrying the right-sided visual field of this left eye. You know, so left eye's right-sided visual field. Okay, that is because that's the side of the retina. Okay, so this is the left side of the right retina, left side of the left retina, which is carrying the right-sided visual field. So this right-sided visual field is going here. So this is actually left eye's right field. Okay, it is lying here in left geniculate body. Similarly, you can see on the right eye, similarly the temporal fibers are uncrossed fibers which will be lying in the left geniculate body. Okay, so this is actually carrying the right eye's left visual field. Okay, so the left eye's the left visual field is also coming here. Okay, left eye's left visual field is also coming to this geniculate body. Okay, so this left eye's left field. Next, coming to this optic radiations, the optic radiation fibers which are going through the temporal lobe are called Meye's loop. Okay, Meye's loop. Okay, and the optic radiation fibers which are going through the parietal lobe to reach the occipital pole is the Bohm's loop. Okay, so as we know, these Meye's loop are going through the temporal pole, that is the inferior aspect of the cerebral hemisphere. Okay, inferior aspect. So all these inferior fibers are going to take the fibers from the inferior part of the retina. We're going to take the fibers from inferior part of the retina. As we know, the inferior part of the retina is having the upper visual field. Okay, is having the upper visual field. So the Meyer fibers, if you draw about the area, so this is the face, this is a eye field. Okay, okay, of both the sides, the right and the left side. Okay, so each side's halves, and this is the upper half and the lower half. As we know, the Meyer is going to have the field which is coming from the upper field. Okay, upper visual field, because it is carrying the fibers which are coming from the lower part of the retina. Okay, lower part of the retina. Okay, as we see, this lateral geniculate body is concerned only with the right fields. Okay, only with the right sided fields, only the right part. Okay, only the right field of the upper part fibers which are going to have the visual impulse, which are going to take the visual impulse of the right side of the right fields. Okay, right fields of both the eye is going to travel this way. Okay, similarly, if you see bombs, this bombs also, this is the right and left, this is the right and the left eye fields, so upper and lower. Okay, we have divided upper and lower and right and left halves. Now if you see bombs, this is also taking the right field. Okay, so only the right side has to be controlled. Okay, which part of the right field? These are all the fibers which are coming from superior aspect. So it is all fibers which are coming from the superior part of the retina. So this is going to have the lower eye field. Okay, this is going to only have the lower eye field. This is only going to have the lower eye fields. So we can see only the lower eye fields of the right side of both the eyes. Okay, only the lower eye fields of the right side of both the eyes. So okay, right side both the eyes, lower eye field. So these fibers are going to take this area and is going to control. This is actually going to take the visual impulse from this area. Okay. And the last thing what we should understand is this is the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere. We have the anterior, this is the posterior cerebral artery which will be traveling posteriorly. Okay, the posterior cerebral artery. There's a branch of the posterior cerebral artery which will be traveling through the calcarine sulcus. Okay, this is a calcarine branch of the posterior cerebral artery. This is the posterior cerebral artery. And this calcarine branch is the one which is mainly supplying the visual cortex. So the visual cortex will be here. So this is a visual cortex which is surrounding the calcarine sulcus. Okay, area number 17, 18 and 19. Okay. And this area number 17 which will be mainly having the macular vision. This is the posterior pole, this area, mainly the area number 17 of this region which will be having the macular vision. Macular vision has dual blood supply. The blood supply not only comes from the posterior cerebral artery, it is also derived from the middle cerebral artery. So it also receives an additional source from the middle cerebral artery. So this also we should remember while we are studying about the lesions. Okay. Now we will talk about the lesions. So now coming to lesion, when there is a damage to the optic nerve, okay, when there is a damage to the optic nerve, there is a complete loss of vision to that particular eye. Complete loss of vision. Okay, that is the first type of lesion. Next, when you consider about the pituitary tumor or something which will be compressing the optic chiasma in the midline, okay. So when the optic chiasma is compressed here in the midline, when the crossed fibers are damaged, okay, usually in case of pituitary tumors, okay, which is compressing the optic chiasma, so you can see it is actually it is carrying the temporal field of vision. Okay, it is always carrying the temporal field of vision. So we have bitemporal hemianopia. We'll have, see, both sides the temporal field of vision fibers are gone. So we have, if the right and the left eye, we have the bitemporal hemianopia. Okay, this is the temporal region of this eye, and this is the temporal region of this eye. So this is actually causing bitemporal hemianopia. So this number 1, here it is causing total blindness of one eye. Okay, now we'll come to number 3. Just imagine only the left half of the optic chiasma is damaged. Only the left half of the optic chiasma is damaged. Here you can see only the one fiber. So only one group of fiber which is actually carrying the visual impulse from the right visual field of the left eye, or we can call it as nasal field of the left eye is damaged. So this is the left eye, this is the right eye, only the nasal part of the left eye is damaged. So this area is damaged. So this will result, this is number 3. Okay, so this will result in left nasal hemianopia. Left nasal hemianopia. Okay, that is the left nasal hemianopia. The next situation is the injury happening at the optic tract level. Okay, when the injury is happening at the optic tract level, just imagine it is having the right eye's right field and left eye's right field. So it is actually taking the right eye's right field and left eye's right field. Both right fields are spoiled. Okay, both right fields are spoiled. So this size right field is here, this size right field is here. Okay, it is little different from bitemporal. We can see it is only the temporal. Here this side is nasal, this side is temporal. Okay, so in this kind of lesion, which is the fourth type of lesion, we have right homonymous hemianopia. Okay, this is the right homonymous hemianopia. Right homonymous NYM, sorry, right homonymous hemianopia. Okay, that is about the lesion which is happening in the optic tract. Next, considering the lesions which are happening only in the Mayer's loop. So this area should be lost on either side, correct? Okay, only the upper right half of the field, only upper right part of the field is lost. Okay, so this can be called as pie in the sky. In simple term, it can be called a pie because it looks like a pie. Okay, pie of a circle, pie in the sky. Okay, otherwise we can call this as, since it is right side, it is right. Since it is superior, it is called superior. Since it is quarter part, it is called quadranopia. Quadrantanopia. Okay, it is called right superior quadrantanopia. Okay, similarly, if it is happening in the Bohm's, okay, Bohm's fibers, you can see this is actually the right inferior quadrant. Okay, right inferior quadrant, only a lower part, a pie, is affected. So this can be called as pie in the floor. This can be called as pie in the floor. Okay, this can be called as pie in the floor. Otherwise, we can call it as right inferior quadrantanopia. Okay, right inferior quadrantanopia, pie in the floor or right inferior quadrantanopia. Now imagine this entire fibers are lost. Okay, full optic radiation is damaged. So if that is the condition, it should cause similar to that of the lesion in the optic tract. So it has to cause a lesion similar to the optic tract. So it's number 4. This one, the right homonymous hemianopia. Okay, it should cause right homonymous hemianopia. Consider if there is a infarct of an artery, of posterior cerebral artery. There's a branch of the posterior cerebral artery which will be traveling through the calcarine sulcus. Okay, this is a calcarine branch of the posterior cerebral artery. This is the posterior cerebral artery. And in posterior cerebral artery, in fact, the visual cortex is affected, but the macular region also receives the middle cerebral artery, hence it is spared. Okay, macular region is spared. So this is taking the right field of both the eye. Okay, so right field of both the eye, the right field of both the eye. So right field of the both the eyes should be affected, but the macula should not be affected. So this is the macular region. Okay, it's a macular region. Other than macular region, rest of the part is affected. So this is similar, something similar to this, but with macular sparing. So it can be called as right homonymous hemianopia with macular sparing. So this can be called as right homonymous hemianopia with the inclusion of macula. Here this can be called as right homonymous hemianopia with macular sparing. Okay, so these are the clinical condition because of lesion of optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract and the optic radiation at different levels. Thank you.